Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bald and Bonkers Show. Join your hosts Christopher Mole and Dakota Franson as they take you on a wild ride through the world of the supernatural, with a humorous twist that'll have you laughing and shaking in your boots at the same time. From ghosts to aliens to cryptids, no topic is off limits on this show. And the best part? You don't have to be a believer to join in on the fun. So grab a drink, kick back, and tune in every weekend for new episodes. And if you want even more of the Bald and Bonkers experience, be sure to subscribe to our Patreon page for exclusive content you won't find anywhere else. Let's get weird. Oh, and for the whiners out there, viewer discretion is advised. There you go, you entitled pricks.
Oh, good! You took it off before you looked like Hitler.
No, ladies and gentlemen, I was saying I was wanting to grow a moustache like my young friend here, but I don't have the patience. I like to cleanly shave every couple of days, so I got some duct tape. These I think. There you go. I look the bit. Look at them. See, we've both got a kind of lovely beard there. It's a good job I put it there and I didn't put it there. You know what I mean? Because I might have put it there. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you look like Hitler with that. No,
anyway,
seriously, you. No,
the toupee.
Oh God, you can already tell this episode's gone off
It's going
the
to be a
rails.
mad one tonight, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I was going to come on there and go, "Good morning, Vietnam," but be here interrupting.
I didn't interrupt shit. No, I was preventing shit. I know it's apparently socially acceptable to identify as Hitler these days.
I know, that's mad. I mean, who in their right mind is a lassie that thinks she's a man dressed up as Hitler? And she says she's got a birthmark in the side of the head, and that was where the bullet went in. Must be then. Must be Hitler. Yeah. So,
Or it could have been Hitler's side chick that, I don't know.
I wonder who's watching us tonight. Who's watching us tonight? I wonder who's watching. We've got 5 people watching us tonight. Facebook user Hitler was gay. Well, that's the thing, right? Can I just say something to the Facebook user there? See, in 1930s, 1920s, 1930s, see if you to say you're gay. That meant something totally different.
Chris.
It meant you were happy.
Chris.
What?
I bet you money on who that is. On Facebook user. Oh, I know who it is.
Who?
He wasn't happy. He was a meth head. Yeah, right. No. Come on. You drew it out. Come on.
I drew who? What do you mean?
It's your brother.
Oh, it's my brother? Oh, I thought for a second there you were going to cheat. Thing when you said it was that troll that was annoying me.
Oh, no.
That strange looking woman that I actually think she's a man, but it's okay. We're not all good.
Hey, we don't judge. We don't judge. You know, if that's what they want to live their life, that's how they want to live their life. But hey, at least you're actually getting admirers now, and you can stop trying to live vicariously through me.
I know. I've been getting weird messages on TikTok. What do you call it on Twitter?
You mean titter?
Titter, yes, exactly. And it's all women.
Ever since Elon took over.
I get one the other day there last week. I see you're friends with, wait for this, Neil Story and Dave Schrader. And I put, yes. I couldn't resist that. I just wanted to see what they say. You know that Mike the Naked Figure, he looked forward to things like this. And he was, could you get me on their show? And I went, no. Block.
If you blow me, maybe.
I've had them too, but I used to direct them to Mike the Naked Bigfoot. It was a wee joke we had together, you know. They would go and see Mike. He was like the manager, you know.
I know. I'm just saying. I just miss that man. I miss him.
I know, but I know exactly what Mike is doing right now. He's probably haunting the fuck out of Zach Bagans. Zach Bagans doesn't care what a demon is. Zach Bagans doesn't care what Zach Bagans doesn't care what a cryptid is until Mike enters his museum. Can you imagine Mike haunting you? You know, a man standing there with budgie smugglers on, and that's that.
I was about to say, do we know if they fulfilled Mike's little request to have his fingers sent to Zach Bagans?
Did he win that? I thought it was.
He said that on our show.
I can't mind of that.
Yeah. I couldn't fucking forget it. My God. Say it was like his pinky or something.
Why does it do that? Why does Facebook do that? It's new. It says Drew Mo. It says Drew Mo there.
Well, now he's talking to us through YouTube. That's why. What was that?
What?
That.
That was Mike. He's standing behind you. He's going to visit you in the night. You know what Mike like to do in the night in the darkness?
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, there's Drew Mo. But seriously, do you think that if Hitler hadn't hidden his... What is that?
Gayness.
We would have had more a diversion or whatever. I don't know, really. What do you think if he went about with his hands like that? You know? Oh,
well,
hello.
Well, it wasn't just Jews he was targeting. He was targeting gays. Anybody who didn't have blonde hair and blue eyes, yet he had brown hair and brown eyes.
I learned an interesting fact the other day there. See the guy that was in charge of the propaganda? Do you ken that it was him? I can't mind what his name was. Drew, what was the guy's name that was in charge of the propaganda? It was Hitler's closest pal, the one that he killed himself in the bunker at the same time with Hitler. Did you know, this is interesting, that it was him that came up with the blonde and blue eyes and stuff?
Yeah.
It wasn't Hitler.
Mm-hmm.
And that's... Goebbels, there you go, old Goebbels. And he came up, he was the chief. Hitler didn't actually... This is an actual fact. I watched a program about this, and this is going to blow you away. Hitler didn't actually want to go after the Jews at first. It was actually Goebbels' idea.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously he caught on to that and then started making atrocities and killing millions of Jews, which is diabolical. You know what I mean? But if you had to go back in time, right, only once, to say, the day that Hitler was born, what would you do to change the war?
That's the thing. Without some sort of looking glass technology, how do we know that there wouldn't be someone worse?
See, that's the thing that I was thinking about. I was having this discussion with somebody, right? And I says, well, why not? Don't kill them, because that would be bad, obviously. Why not just swap them at birth?
I mean, think about it. You actually go through Hitler's personal life. There were several near-death experiences he had.
Mm-hmm.
Several. Yeah, he still managed to pull through.
Do you think
there was a pastor that once... There was a preacher that once saved him from drowning in a river. Once he realized who that young boy came out to be, he had his doubts about his faith, but...
See, that's interesting, that, because that's like fate. He was like protected in a way. He was fated to die in that bunker or something. He lived in South America until 1980s, but never mind that. It was like fate was protecting him. Innit?
That those events had to happen. It makes you certainly wonder. But also, you know, a lot of people say, no, he died in that bunker. We said, if he genuinely died in that bunker, why did the Russians, the Americans, the United Kingdom, all the Allied powers spend millions upon millions of dollars after his so-called death looking for the bastard?
Aye. Look, An interesting thing before we jump onto our kind of subjects we've got for the night, and this is go and look it up yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. See if you go to online and just Google this, right? This is all you need to Google. Hitler's body remains, right? Just hit that and a spew of stuff will come up about it. Did you know that when the Russians gave the scientists the skull of Hitler, right? What they thought was the skull of Hitler, it had a weird type of red mud inside it because he was obviously buried for a wee while. There was like a red soil on it. And they're like, this is weird, this, by the way. Because in Germany, there's no such soil, right? But you know where the soil was found to come from? South America, Argentina.
Oh, yeah.
And they actually traced it. They think he died. They went, they buried, dug him up, put him in a box, take him back to Russia. That's what they did.
Oh, no, it's fully believed, and there's actually declassified CIA documents that say they fully expect that Hitler and several members of the Third Reich managed to flee to Argentina because there was no extradition treaty, and the Argentinians, they took Germany's side during the war.
Yep.
They fully believe he lived up until his 80s or 90s.
Did you hear the other one about Hitler? The other one where he pleaded for his life to stay in Argentina, right? If he handed over everything he had on the UFO subject.
Well, that would be a good bargaining chip.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The technology like that. Hello, Nando. Good to see you, my friend. You know,
I'm shocked he came around.
Nando was doing a wee ghost investigation thing the other day there. The spooks and the spectres. Ooh.
Yeah, have you seen Nando's little picture in honor of the king's coronation? He looked like a princess from a jail yard. Too much lube from this guy! I'm just kidding.
Talking about the coronation, did you see the Grim Reaper? We mentioned him last night. I know what that is, 'cause I looked it up.
Oh, then what is it so we can debunk it for some of our younger and more impressionable audience?
There's people that walk outside and they were all dressed up like a gateria, right? And I can't even remember what they're exactly called, but there's something bearers, and they walk outside and they've got like hoods and stuff like that. But it ran across it. I don't think he was meant to run across there at the time. Did you see the other one where they're singing Camilla in Latin?
What do
you
you
need
mean?
to listen to that one. You just go and Google Camilla in Latin.
So it was like, what did Diana's voice come back up again?
No, it was just something. It was just in Latin. I'm not going to tell you what it was because it's just too funny. It's funny, right? Honestly, Nando, you came up and talking about. One of you is go and Google it and then write in the chat.
Oh, you bloody brutes!
I know, but it's. I'm not going to talk about it. Okay, I mean, it's quite. It's honestly, it's just stupid, right? I know I've got family that watch this, and I don't want to talk about this kind of thing. It was Latin words for something else when they were singing when she was coming in.
What, dirty whore?
No. They sung it, and I was like, oh my god, that was just. To be really honest with you, right? I'm going to tell you something. I don't particularly like the royal family, but that's just me. I look at Americans out there, and, you know, I mean,
love how people are running away as we're talking about the royals.
I know.
Hey, there's a segue coming up, you assholes.
I know. Guys, we're bringing up bloody all the what do you call it, island nights and all that, and all the Prince Charles pals and stuff. But anyway, let's jump to that. What about strange news for around the world?
Still focusing on the coronation because we promised we had a frickin' segue here, people. I was like, here, Chris is the one that actually found this one, so I'm going to try to bring up the link real quick. But as always with historical events, there always seems to be something weird flying about in the sky, right? Once again, we had UFOs attend the coronation.
Yes.
Now, could it be that these are just experimental craft that we're flying about? Possibly. The term UFO just means something weird flying about in the sky. It's like, here we have the link here, ladies and gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
And gotta admit, this is
Right. I'm going to say this to you. I was thinking about this after I sent it to you, right? It does look like a pink balloon. But it is above the jet, and then if you to work out the size of that, but where that man was standing that taken the photograph, right? Plus to the fact that it was moving along with the jets in the same direction.
yeah.
Right? And the wind was going that way, and the jets were going this way. And I just...
Now, this could easily be a matter of force perspective, but
Could be.
you got to admit, that does definitely look like something is keeping an eye on the place. And who knows? With it. Now, granted, with events like that, with major political figures such as the royals, and anytime they're gathered, there's going to be extra security.
Yeah.
So, who knows?
Right, I'll tell you what, the photographer was watching here we go. I'm reading this with the mirrors, right? The photographer was watching the fly past from the 13th floor of his East London Tower block. Now, he said, I was shooting some photos from the 13th floor of the apartment building in Limehouse where the red arrows did a flyover. Right? The weather was bad, so there was no birds in the air. See, that's true, because it was thunderstorms, it was torrential rain.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it was very windy, which I find quite interesting. I mean, if that was a balloon, that'd be gone. Right? I mean, that would be gone. See, the weather was bad, so there was no birds in the air, so I couldn't really check the plane, so I didn't check the photos until later. When I did spot the weird object, I thought it was the hell is that? I mean, it wasn't just... I don't know what that was. I mean, was that them here to check? Maybe it was the reptilian shapeshifters, David Icke. Maybe they were coming. Would you call it? It was his mother coming back to their home world to see the coronation.
Hey, who knows? You know, they say some of these UFOs could actually be intergalactic tourists. So,
I never thought about that.
yeah,
I never thought.
You know,
about
they say like the survivor of the Roswell crash alleged that because of the Earth's position on the outer rim of the galaxy, it's more like a prison/nature preserve planet. In how we would describe it, at least. Obviously, their language is going to be different, but...
Talking about prison planet, nature world and stuff like that. What did you think of that other article that I sent you for Fox News?
The retired naval officer not wanting to come forward because he fears a prison time. Yeah.
This is quite an interesting one. UFO search, retired Navy officer not going to jail to report what he saw in Afghanistan. And this is quite a good one. There's a video here which I don't think we can play. We can't play that, can we?
Well, where it's a news article, technically we could.
Yeah. I mean, I find it quite interesting. A retired Navy officer said he saw a metallic orb in Afghanistan that's similar to the one shown in a video during last month's Senate hearing. But there's no secure way for him to come forward. And I find that interesting. Has he been approached and said, listen, Special Secrets Act, you're going to get arrested and you've got to go to jail, kind of thing. I mean...
Here's the thing. There's a lot of discussion centering around these particular metal orbs, and it's believed that some of the balloons that have been confirmed with all of these UFOs being shot down earlier this year may have actually been some kind of cover for those metal orbs. Right now, alleged insiders, and it was Elena's friend Dr. Michael Sala, his contacts have brought this forward. Deep State's starting to freak out about them.
So what are they? Are they probes of some kind?
Allegedly, they are unmanned probes that are coming from hidden arcs throughout the solar system, not just on Earth. And they're looking for the crew that's meant to pilot it. They're meant to activate it and really kick off this show.
So are we the crew, but we've just obviously evolved because they crashed here a long time ago?
It has to hit a certain DNA match. And it's alleged that several groups, Illuminati and things like them, have managed to track these bloodlines and who they believe should be able to open up these artifacts. But the subject had to be kept alive. So naturally, when they would start butchering them like cattle, nothing would turn on.
Yeah, I find it quite interesting what he says. I'm going to be honest with you. I'd love to tell everything in detail, but I'm not willing to go to jail to do it, said retired Navy Senior Chief, whose name is being withheld for fear of repercussions, right? Can't pronounce it tonight. I'm because of security agreements, right? He says, see, I think there's more to this. I think somebody's got to him. I honestly think somebody's got.
Yeah, it is possible because you got to consider these whole UFOs being observed as a national security threat. Okay, why is that? Well, they're outmaneuvering us, outgunning us. They're not taking any hits that we throw at them. That's going to scare the entire military-industrial complex, who built their livelihood on being the biggest, baddest motherfuckers out there with all the fancier guns.
Right. Talking about these alien arcs, right? Is this the same type of scenario which was happening in Ukraine desert?
Ukraine is believed to be connected, yes.
Right, I'm gonna say this out loud here, and it's nothing to do with the war or anything like that. But do you not think that Vladimir Putin's looking so much healthier?
It's a double.
This has got a segue to this. Do you not think he looks a lot better?
Some sources are actually claiming that he has a double.
Right, but this is what I'm suggesting. I've been hearing a lot of back chatter about that thing that's meant to be buried in the desert in Ukraine, right? And this is why they're all fighting over this, right? What was if he made it there and get healed?
Considering it was reported by some sources that he was suffering from some sort of blood cancer.
Yes. He was looking
that would
terrible.
be very, very difficult to treat, no matter how fancy of doctors you manage to get.
But what I kind of get, right, see these are arcs, right? And I know Elena Dennen talks about this and stuff. What's in them? What is in these arcs? What are in these arcs? Why are they called arcs? Is there like people frozen in animation or something? What is there?
These are alleged reports. There's different ones, different things. Say like the one in Ukraine is supposed to have highly medicinal plants that would be adapted to be able to grow here on Earth.
Right.
That would cure a majority of diseases. There's medical technology. There's also alleged to be cloned bodies in there as well of several different species. I believe those are ones that were located down in Antarctica. But essentially, once these things open, we're going to see several environmental factors. And say like Neptune and Uranus all of a sudden heating up. Spots on Jupiter all of a sudden heating up. Elena, then they believe that's supposedly a sign that something's turned on.
What I kind of get, and I thought about this the other night with these arcs and stuff. What doesn't get me is why would they leave them here? Why? Is it for us? Is it designed for us? So that's
Yeah.
what it is then. So it's designed for us. So we have. So that is a present for us, basically, to help us grow and.
There's a lot of chatter that disclosure is supposed to come full circle within the next couple of years. However, due to just how dealing with timelines work and just how this all, it's a number of confusing factors that even the most brilliant minds here on Earth would stumble over. They left these things here to prepare for when the time is right. So they're not having to unload it in mass. It's already here, ready to go.
Yeah, that sounds right. I just wonder when disclosure will happen, because the way the world's gone now, it's just for as we join the part as we were talking last night about how the world's falling apart. I mean, and what's happening in this world. I mean, society itself slowly breaking up. The banks are slowly crashing, right? They say we're in for a total financial collapse where the dollar will be worth, you'll be lucky if the dollar will be worth a cent, or even a dollar will be worth nothing, right? That means all the financial systems will crash. You say, right, say you've got $50,000 in the bank, that'll be worthless. Worthless. And it's scary. It really is how they want to have this digital currency. I mean, I can see the point. Digital currency. I mean, I ken a lot of people that just use their phone to pay for stuff. I use my phone to pay for stuff and stuff like that, right? But it's still good having like cash in hand. I mean, what's your idea about the digital currency? Would you know?
All attempts with digital currency, say like Bitcoin, NFTs, all that, so far, the main problem behind them is their instability. I mean, not to say a few months ago, you had all these people saying, "Oh, buy and sell NFTs, I'm making thousands and thousands of dollars." Yet, that whole market completely crashed, and people lost out on potentially millions.
See, the CBDC, that's the British one. The CBDC, that's the British one. This is to take out all money, right? And everybody's like, oh, what's the conspiracy theories? The conspiracy theories is saying it's a bad thing. Well, I will say this, it is a bad thing, because let me just say this. This is what could happen, right? Say, for instance, God forbid, there's another like outbreak of some weird, strange illness, right? And the digital currencies and everybody's own that digital currency, right? Say, for instance, you want to travel, say, 15 miles away, right? And you need gas for your car. And you need stuff, right? See if you're out within that, say there's a lockdown. And I know you should stay in if there's a lockdown, right? But some people didn't, which was their right? If turn around and go, you're not allowed to do that zone, right? Say, for instance, like a 15-minute city, for instance, right? You're not allowed to do that 15-minute city, or you'll be fined. You go to that 15-minute city, you go to use your digital currency, and it'll not work. Right? And you see, this is where folks start thinking, but people can still barter and stuff. What you've got to use? Gold? Only so many folk have got gold. And eventually it'll run out. And see, this is where the idea of the 15-minute cities come in the UK. Everything was in reach of 15 minutes. That means you don't need your car. So basically you can get rid of your car, right? And the digital currency, right? If you drive your car out of that 15-minute city, you are instantly fined for driving out. Do you know that they're actually doing that 15-minute city right now in Oxford? It's coming in next year. And they're trialling it. And if you drive out that zone, you will be fined. If you walk out of that zone, you will be fined. I mean, what's your thoughts on the 15-minute city and this CBDC?
More highly urbanized locations, it could go off without a hitch in a way when you really think about it. I'm talking about highly urban, bigger cities where You can just walk down the street, grab your groceries.
Like London or something like that.
Yeah. London, perfect example. But obviously, say like where you're from and where I'm from, a lot more rural. You have to drive more than 15 minutes in order to get to anything that's worth a damn. So, I don't know, just if they're going to try to implement it as some new world order, it's not going to work for several areas.
Yeah, it's not going to work for the countryside, but they want to bring it in the countryside. The countryside, this is the Scottish version, is a 25-minute city, 20 to 25-minute city for Scotland, for rural areas, right? It's not going to work. What was if you're a pensioner and you need to go shopping? Oh, they say you'll be issued points. This is great, by the way. You'll be issued points every month, right? And see the points. Each year you'll have these points, and those points will allow you to travel to other towns in your car without being fined. You see where this is all going here? It's all control. It's all control, and it's training people. And it's submission. I think it's the beginning. You talk about George Orwell 1984. I think this is that happening. I really do think this is that happening.
Unfortunately, in order for the changes we also need to have happen so society itself can improve, we need this collapse. We need this collapse.
But it'll be pandemonium. See, when it does collapse,
exactly,
a lot of people will die. Do you know that, and this is an actual thing, you can look this up, if an EMP was detonated above the United States, I hope it never happens, right? And the power was knocked out for the United States for, say, 6 months, right? Within a month, there'd be about 50% casualties. There would be like 30, 40 million people dead. Because you've got to remember, everybody loves their life. Electric keeps everything going. Right? I mean, you got to remember, electric's used in everything now. Everything is computerized. I mean, when it happened, when was that event that happened with the telegraph poles burst into flames? It was something, Carrington event. When was that? Oh, it was the 1900s, wasn't it? It was around about the 1900s, the Carrington event. So. Aye. Right. See, when it happened then, the only things electric in the days was a couple of like radio station kind of things, like Morse code places, and maybe a few electrical places. They didn't really notice it. Right? See if that to happen now.
Oh, yeah.
My God. I mean, everything's computerized. It's ridiculous. You can't even get appointments at the doctors without... If their computer's down, that's that. You're fucked.
I mean, hell, for how some of these kids are nowadays, and I'm saying this as my, see, I told you this story. My 14-year-old cousin at the time.
Yeah.
She was staying over at our house. We got a call. Our grandmother was going to the hospital, possible stroke. Obviously I'm kicking down doors, to wake my mom up, say, hey, grandma's going to the hospital now, possible stroke. My cousin gets up, hears all the commotion. It's like, what's going on? Our grandma's going to the hospital. They think she's having a stroke. Oh, why is the Wi-Fi not working?
Yeah.
Seriously? You really want to cause total chaos right now? All they would need to do is take a decent deep sea submarine and take out the cords that run the internet.
I actually was watching a thing about that. That's really weird you're talking about that. Everybody thinks that if they cut the first one, everything will go to madness. They would need to cut all 4 cords. It would take, because there's backups. Do you ken it's only maybe about that thick? And I kid you not, that's for the entire United Kingdom. But obviously there's gods for France and Europe go to UK, and then they go for the UK to Ireland, and they go for Ireland across to America. And it's amazing because see me speaking to like you right now, and everybody that's watching for America and stuff like this right now, I'm actually traveling at the speedy God knows what under the sea right now.
Yeah. And just to kind of go with my submarine analogy, you're also getting attacked by sharks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sharks have been trying to eat those lions forever.
Yeah. Think about what else has went out of these lines. It makes you wonder. I mean, in extraterrestrial life, all you really need to do is tap into the lines.
It wouldn't take much for them.
No.
I mean, hell, take that the Verlon broadcast hijacking from the 1970s. All someone would have to do to pull that off is stand close enough to a tower.
Yep. It's like society is very, very precarious. I can actually see, with things that's happening in the world now, with the financial collapse things, I can see society collapsing in the next year to 2 years. And it's maybe, I ken this as I'm going to get slagged for this, by the way, but it is maybe needing to happen. And the reason, folk are like, oh, you'll just destroy everything. I'll say, no, you'll not destroy. I'm going to bring up Star Trek here. That happened in Star Trek. Society broke down, right? Humans endeavoured, they endeavoured to build space travel, and they did. And they met intelligent life. Intelligent life came to Earth and helped us rebuild, right? Maybe that's what the intelligent life watching us the news want us to do. Maybe they want us to stop squabbling over stupid wars in Europe and squabbling over things to start working together for once. Imagine a planetary disaster knocked out nearly all the electrics and internet, right? Knocked out all that, right? Everybody would come together to try and restore everything, right? And I think that's what we need to do. There's society now is in a really bad way. And honestly, it is. You just need to watch TikTok for 5 minutes and you're like disgusted. Get what I mean? I mean, the younger generation, they know, God forbid they're going to run this world when we're gone. Yeah. I mean, the younger generation. I mean, ones that are younger than Dakota. Dakota's all right. His generation's okay, but the ones before that.
I know. A lot of younger kids, younger than me, mind you, I'm 27.
Yeah.
They're starting to realize how screwed over they are. Their teachers didn't care. The adults in their lives are trying to pressure them into things that just don't work anymore. And there's also a number of young ladies. I'm fucking saying this. A number of young ladies who are completely convinced that getting pregnant and having some guy take care of your needs is going to solve all their problems. They don't have to worry.
Yeah.
That system does not work anymore. And quite frankly, some of y'all ain't picking the best of guys. And I'm looking at you, sister. My sister, I mean. It's like, I mean, I'm looking at you. To my sisters, I'm looking at you.
Look, I'll tell you how stupid society is. I was watching a video on TikTok last night. I mean, a young woman, probably in her 30s, 20s, was following the sat nav, right? And she drove off the pier. No, not the pier, the slipway into the water. She says, oh, the boats can turn there, so why can't I? That's what she said to the guy, and her car sunk. And he's like, why did you drive in here? Oh, because your boat turned round. And they're all looking at him like, that's a car. That's a boat. Yes, and what about it? That's obviously something wrong with my car. Did you see that video? Did you see the video of the woman that killed the two people? And she was
Which
laughing.
One? Yeah.
It was just last night. I seen it. The highway cop. I don't know where it was in the United States. Did you see that?
Yeah.
And she's in hospital and she's rolling about the bed laughing. And she says, "You've just killed 2 people." And she's like, "Oh, well, can I still go to school tomorrow?" And I was like, "You've killed 2 people with something homicide. I can't remember what it's called." And she's like, "Oh, can I no go? Can I no go to school? What about my car? Is it okay?" And he says, "Your car's totaled and it's now property of the police department for forensic because you've killed 2 people." "Oh, right. Oh, that's a shame. Can I still go to school tomorrow?" That is the younger generation now. They don't give a fuck. They don't.
Why would
Honestly.
they? No one gave a crap about them.
Exactly.
And see Gerard here, and he goes to talk about a lot of highly spiritual stuff. Yeah, it's not wise to invest thought energy because it can manifest later on. But here's the thing. The fact that people are been so uncomfortable with calling out the fact that this crap is going and not taking action in order to correct it is what caused this situation in the first place. And honestly, that's what kind of ticks me off when people start going to the spiritual side, because they're ignoring the fact that the floor is acid underneath them and they're just dancing away.
Yeah. That's what's wrong with this world now. Maybe we're needing a shock. We're needing a shock.
One's coming.
Oh yeah, one's coming. It's either financial. I think it'll be a chain reaction. I think something will happen in Europe, then the banks will totally crash, and then before we know it, we'll all be shooting at each other.
With the economic crisis that lingers, everybody's trying to say, "Oh, China wants their currency to be exchanged in place of the U.S. dollar." That doesn't work out necessarily for China.
Yeah.
The U.S. dollar goes, that's going to cause a chain reaction to the rest of the economics all over the world just because of trade. It's not going to work. And I'm not saying any of my earlier remarks, just to kind of shoot you that there, Gerard. I'm being genuine here. This is my observation, and it almost becomes ignorant to not acknowledge that something bad is happening.
Look,
that is how we get manipulated into. This is how North Korea gets brainwashed into what it is today.
I'm going to say this, right? I may get shot for this. I don't particularly care, to be purely honest. What's happening in Europe right now is not what people think it is, right? It's like the West playing against each other, right? That's what it is. It's a game to them, right? All these thousands and thousands of soldiers that are dying is a game to them. They're playing a game of chess, right? Putin, I'm amazed Putin's did so blatantly he's not pressed the button yet, right? And that's the honest opinion. I'm amazed he hasn't pressed that button yet, right? And I'm going to say this, right? Imagine the United States, right? I'm not sticking up for MD here. Imagine the United States, right? And say Canada started putting, say they were an enemy, say Canada was an enemy, I know, it's mad, right?
I know. It's like if Canada's getting ready to kill people, something's wrong.
Right, just listen to this, right? And Canada was friends with China, and they started putting in nuclear weapons aimed at America. What do you think America would do?
We start shooting first.
Do you know that Russia had a treaty with NATO, America, and Britain, no to do that to their countries, to make it caged in, and they went totally against them. Totally against them. If you go into YouTube and look up, I think it's General. There's a General out there. I can't remember, MacArthur, or what was that link that I sent you? Did I send you that one? But
which one?
This ex-military general, he was in the Gulf War and all that. He's a top. Let me off on it in a minute. And see Ukraine right now, guys. It's going to collapse. They can't win, right? They cannot win this. Do you know that Russia has asked America, Britain, and this is our mainstream media, by the way, the propaganda networks that are out there, multiple times to come to the table. They say, listen, all we want is Crimea. We're happy with Crimea. That's all we want. We don't want Ukraine joining NATO, which is too late now because it's probably got to join. That's all we want, right? And they've tried to stop this war. And I know people in the military that are talking about this, and it's ridiculous. Britain and America refusing point blank to let them go to the table. They talk about this. They just keep pumping our money into Ukraine. Do you know how many people are dying because of America and Britain?
Let's push this even further. The Nord Stream oil explosion.
That was Britain. That was us.
No. It's pretty much well acknowledged. Yeah, everybody was trying to say, "Oh, the Russians did this. Russian did this."
Yeah.
And Russia's like, "We have no idea what the fuck happened."
There was no reason.
The
for
U.S. No, it's been pretty much all but confirmed that the U.S., Britain, and its NATO allies utilized that in order to try to sabotage peace talks.
Yes.
And in fact, there's some channels coming out of Russia who fully believe that the U.S. is trying to utilize these reports of UFOs being shot down and over the U.S. And I've noticed there's at least been 3 more reports of weird balloons in the sky within the last week.
Yeah.
They're trying to use that to cover up the fact that there's a lot of shady shit coming to light, and they are scrambling.
Yeah. Look, Russia has done some bad things. Ukraine has done a lot of bad things. The things that's happening, I know people that are fighting in Ukraine against the Russians, right? I've talked to them on Facebook. I know them. They're ex-soldiers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they tell me something. I'm not going to talk about it on here, but the Ukraine's been doing a lot of naughty things, right? They've been, and it's all going to come out very soon. And see, when it comes out, everybody that's flying with a Ukraine flag on their Facebook post are going to be removing it, because when they find out what that Mr. Zelensky's been doing, what he's been ordering, he will probably get to jail, or he will get executed for what he's been doing.
People don't realize the number of war crimes the U.S. has actually been found guilty of within international court laws.
Yeah.
Well, not just war crimes, crimes against its own people.
Like, I'm not sticking up. I need to say this. I'm not sticking up for Russia, and I'm not sticking up for Ukraine. This needs to stop. It needs to stop. We need to stop sending them money. See, Britain, people can't afford to heat their houses or get food, but we're sending hundreds of millions. Britain sent them depleted uranium. They've sent them depleted uranium shells. The idea how bad that is. Mm-hmm. Do you know if one of them break? They actually banned them. They used to test them and around the coast of Britain, and they had to stop because when they break open, the radiation goes everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And we're sending it to them to fire at each other. Mm-hmm. It's mad, and it needs to stop.
Exactly.
We'll definitely get.
And we're probably going to get some dislikes on that, because the new age approach to a lot of the topics we like to go into, ghosts, UFOs, even cryptids.
Mm-hmm.
That has been... Oh, I find it funny that my signal is starting to fuck up as we're talking about this.
Yeah. And I'll tell you something else I found it... Oh, no, sorry, on you go.
No, I was just going to say this. How much we have tried to hold on to these religiously in order to find some sort of faith in that there's going to be a happy ending to all this. It's understandable. No one is blaming that. I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing, but we are following it so blindly that we are walking into the fire because we're so used. We don't want to sit out in the cold anymore. I mean, here's an example, right? This happened out of Brazil. Here's a much more lighthearted example. All of a sudden, I believe it was out of Brazil. There's this church, and it had a statue of Christ, and for some reason, there were tears coming out of the statue's eyes. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, it's holy water! It's holy water!" A couple days later, they discovered the source of that water was a backed up toilet.
Oh, was it a backed up toilet, that one? I seen one that was...
It was bad plumbing because of a backed up toilet. I'm just saying. Everybody gets bothered when we try to bring up the fact that there's a harsh reality. This is not all rainbows and unicorns and everybody flying together into outer space. No. It's going to get rough. There's going to be more wars.
And I'm going to say this. I know a lot of YouTubers out there that won't even get near this subject. They'll not get near it. And they'll cover it up. And they'll say, oh, we support Ukraine. We support America. We support Britain and stuff like that. And they'll get their wee flags and stuff like that. But I'm not going to go down in history as one of these folk that's turned around and says, I'm going to say something. I'm going to say something, because then somebody can turn around and say, see that guy there and that guy there, they actually brought up the subject and actually talked about it. Trying to wake people up.
I know. You want to know what? Well, honestly, so I noticed this is a mentality that's very similar to.
No.
And for those of you who don't know, when Chris and I started this little shindig, we were at the focus of a lot of controversy, a lot of hate, because we spoke out against somebody who was who went to prison for messing around with an underage girl.
And
we had our own reasons. We had our own reasons for getting fired up. Oh no, I'm saying this because there's somebody out of fucking Texas who was also a member of this group. Don't try to lie about that, and especially your little girlfriend. We all knew about this. We had our reasons because we had lost people we cared about to very similar circumstances. We received a lot of hate. This mentality of trying to ignore the fact that this negative shit is happening because people are too disturbed to acknowledge the truth, and the level of shit that is allowed to prosper, the level of innocent people that are getting hurt and potentially killed because of this heartless and coward actions. That needs to stop. Those are the people that want to cover that up, who are too afraid to acknowledge it because of what's going on. Those are the ones who are only going to end up dead.
Yeah. All I'm going to say about them is that, look, they'll be lucky if they're back, and they tried to cover it up. They tried to cover the stuff up. That I don't really like talking about this subject, about the people that we used to be with, and it's something that I don't really talk about. And look, you just covered it up. You tried to get me to fucking cover it up for you, and I'm not having that. Get what I mean? I'm not having that, and that's why I walked away, and that's why I was pissed off and all that, because of the way I was treated there. But I'm not caring anymore, because their empire's gone now. It's crumbled. It's gone. Get me to worry about that anymore.
Oh yeah. I know, and you know what? I agree. I do know they're trying to rebuild, and I did agree to not necessarily bring it up. But the fact still remains. So many people do not want to acknowledge the truth. And let's face it, situations like that have become all too common. And yes, you're not going to want to talk about it. It sucks. Especially if you happen to be from a child's perspective in that mess.
Yeah.
But in all the same, when that news is just barely busting out and there's active efforts to suppress that information, to misdirect it, that raises a lot more questions than simply acknowledging, you know what, yeah, that happened, but I don't necessarily like talking about it. We're trying to move on.
What's that Smith family's talking about in the chat there? Because I heard something about the UK is looking to become a democracy versus the monarchy. That will be a sight to see. I honestly don't know what to say about the monarchy, to be purely honest with you. The way the things are going on in the UK, the new, we need something done. We need something done with the governments in charge. And it's the same in America. Everything's going the same way. It's all going tits up would be the word for that. Yeah, I mean, what's that? With Smith family paranormal, you can't handle the truth. What do you mean we can't handle the truth? Who are you talking
No,
about?
they were going along with some of the
Oh,
remarks we were making. Hey, you got to remember, they know the situation we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Carrie Ann Quantum Go Time 90. That's a long name, that, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a
Morning,
bit of a mouthful.
gentlemen. Love in the absence of Australia. What time is it there? About 2
Love
o'clock
in
in the
the
morning.
right.
Yeah,
My God.
Look, I don't want to go down in history as one of these folk that's like swept under the carpet. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of YouTubers out there, a lot of big names out there, and they're just look. I'm going to tell you this I'm going to tell you this if anybody that's listening to this. If you get anybody that you know that's got the flag, certain flag of the thing, I would highly suggest you change it because there's got to be a lot of stuff coming out soon. A lot of stuff coming out soon about what's been happening over there. And then you'll be like, oh my God, America and Britain has been paying for that.
Mm-hmm. You know,
Yep.
I was just going to say this. There's going to be a lot of information that comes out, and we're going to see a lot of celebrity drama. There's going to be all sorts of that. All new sporting events, Olympics. It's all the Roman circus. Why was the Roman circus founded? It was because the people in the Roman Empire were getting restless and starting to question the emperor. So they put together the Roman circus to distract the public, to give them an escape from the harshness of reality. Same thing goes for New Age concepts. Same thing goes for most religions nowadays.
Everything that's happening in the world, the news, there's a reason for it, right? What's happening in Europe, there's a reason for it. It's no, the America and Britain are not doing this for the freedom of Ukraine. That's what I need to tell you that right now. They're not doing it for the freedom of Ukraine. They've got other ideas. There's other things behind this. And all you need to do is go and research it, guys. Honestly, research it. And you'll be shocked. You just need to... honestly, look what's happening in the UK. Your Prime Minister. Look how corrupt he is. You know what I mean? Look at your glorious leader in America. Look how corrupt he is.
I'm not even sure.
The world is...
Yeah. I'm not even sure he's aware of what the hell's going on
ever
anymore.
noticed about it? I was watching him today. There was a video about him today. He walks about with his hands like that. Oh, it's missing the strings. He's like a puppet when he walks about.
He does show a lot of the same signs as someone who's gone through a serious stroke.
Look,
and he should, if that's the case, he should probably get himself a Nintendo Switch. That's actually legitimate medical advice.
to be honest with you, I'm no American because I can't really say who you should have as president, but that guy needs to resign.
You know, I just...
he's not fit to.
The hypocrisy of certain parties here in the U.S. If you actually go through President Joe Biden's career background, he has been open against imprisonments of colored people.
No.
He's advocated for it. And that's the one we wanted to push through to presidency just because we didn't want a big orange dude.
Look, Mr. Biden, I'm just going to call him Biden, right? You have no idea how dodgy he is. Look at his son with a laptop. You know he's been selling, the president himself has been selling like documents and stuff to China. Here's another one. Did you know that he's selling off all the US oil reserves right as we speak to China?
Did you know?
There's 4 tankers in the Gulf in Mexico right now.
Did you know? No. There's something else too. Did you know that selling off of United States property, land, things of that nature, including the oil, including state secrets, things like that. Did you know that those were all clauses within the loan arrangements when the U.S. borrowed money from China? That if we could not pay it back, we had to give them all this. Guess what? Here, we're going to go into something else that's probably going to get this episode flagged real quick because we have a couple minutes. The number of 5G towers that came from Huawei. Oh, I said it! I said it! Yeah, a lot of these 5G towers came from Huawei. Huawei is a Chinese phone manufacturer that usually runs Android-based software.
Yeah.
And here's the thing where the Chinese companies get... this is where the concern roots, okay? And this is the same for ByteDance, which is TikTok and all that. Companies within China, they have to give over information about everyone who works there, everyone who uses the products, all that, to government officials. It's almost like filing taxes here in the States.
Yeah.
They have to give that information over.
It's honestly, we are in for a storm, ladies and gentlemen, and it's going to be like no other storm you've ever experienced. I'm talking global warfare on a scale that you've never seen before. I don't think nuclear weapons will get used. I maybe hear one or two, but I'll tell you something now. It'll be a conventional war because they can what they can do, the weapon, they know what they can do. The system will collapse. You'll not be able to use your car. It's all got to go tits up, would be a word. It's honestly, everything is going to change. Everything that you know, your gas prices, and what are you paying for a gallon right now, Dakota?
Oh, where I'm at, it's almost up to $4 a gallon for the cheap shit.
Right. Where I am in the UK, it's £9.85 a gallon. What's that in dollars?
That'd be like 7 something off the top of my head.
$7 for £9.
No,
but more than that.
It'd be like close to $11, $12.
But just say 12. Can you imagine?
I'm an American. Math don't work.
Right. If war breaks out with China and Russia, with NATO and everybody else, and it's a conventional war, fuel in my country will probably go from £9 a gallon to probably £25 a gallon. Can you imagine what that's got to do for your trucks and everything? American, I know what you guys are like. He's like your trucks, your V8s and stuff like that. They get like 14 miles to the gallon. I mean, my car gets 40 miles to the gallon.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this. We're not trying to promote fear-mongering or acknowledge a dystopia future. The greatest testament of ignorance is acknowledging that we are all-knowing. And yes, a storm is going to come. Mm-hmm. It is going to be crazy. It is going to change the very fabric of understanding of just about everything we think we know. And there's going to be people who are going to be so conflicted with everything that comes out, they're not going to be able to handle it mentally.
Mm-hmm. It's like, why can people know it? What was it? The World Organization says the population of the planet must be
World Economic Forum.
Aye. Says by 2025 it must be reduced to, like, say 30%, 40%. So that's, say, 8 billion people. That's maybe 5 billion people dead. Do you not think there's something strange here? People are dropping dead everywhere, and everything's going to...
People are dropping dead. The World Economic Forum is literally preaching to people that they need to starve and eat their pets.
Mm-hmm. Eat bugs. They want us to eat bugs. But when saying that, have you seen that other thing that Mr. Bill Gates is signed off on this new genetically modified food? There's a wee sticker on the side of it. Now, I've seen it in supermarkets.
Well, they've been doing that for a while.
Bad for you.
Well, they've been doing that for a while. Say, like, several fruits are infused with frog DNA just to help them sustain the travel as well as colder temperatures.
Did you hear that before we go tonight? Did you hear this one, Dakota? They've actually figured out, the Chinese have actually figured out a way of getting the vaccine. I'm not mentioning what for, obviously what for, but putting it into everybody's food. Did you hear that? So when you buy yourself a Big Mac, you're getting your vaccine. When you
Oh
guys
no,
buy a
that could
bag
have
of
been
chips,
done all the time.
it
That could have been done all along.
when you drink your Coca-Cola or your Lucozade, for instance, you'd be getting
High fructose
vaccinated.
corn syrup.
Yeah, at least
That's
sweet. At least
yeah.
sweet.
It's in everything. It's in everything.
And the thing is, you'll never really be able to get rid of that now because it's in nature. Before we go, did you see that thing where they're killing off all the bees? They've got this weird thing they want to kill all the bees off because they say they're carrying a weird disease. They've actually got these big machines that are sucking them in and killing them. Attracts them, then it sucks them in. The world's bugger.
No, we have to acknowledge the truth, and if this is not fear mongering, it's a genuine acknowledgement. See, like The Last of Us, the beginning of it, where it goes to talk about how there's certain fungus that overtake, plant and animal life, and the main reason why we don't necessarily have to worry about it infecting humans yet is because the human body temperature, when it's completely healthy, is too hot for it. There's a million different things in a single day that can kill you.
Yeah.
People don't try to say, "Oh, Dakota, I can't believe you want to travel with everything going on in the world." Just going out, going to work. There's a few thousand different things that could kill you right there. It's not a good idea to live in fear. It's just not healthy. You're gonna go bald. You're gonna poor eyesight. Yeah, a lot of you may end up with the same haircut as us. Stomach ulcers, all that. It's not good to live in a fear-based society. But the truth is, we have to acknowledge that the threat is there if we are going to be able to overcome it. Because let's face it, not acknowledging that one disease targeting where a majority of products, merchandise, food even, comes from, a disease attacking that part of the world wouldn't shut everything down to where we are still not recovered from it.
Yeah.
If we don't acknowledge the fact of things can go wrong, we can't necessarily prepare to make sure things go right. So yeah, as I was saying earlier, the storm is coming.
Yes.
But conflict has to breed evolution. We're not going to be able to grow and become something better if we do not get our asses kicked from time to time.
Exactly. And if you don't see any of us again, we've probably been kidnapped by men in black vans. I'll see you in the
I was concerned about this guy last night because we got the BS and after the show, and all of a sudden his feed just that.
It's strange, So, Dakota, what have you got planned for this week? You any live streams for yourself?
Well, I'm going to try to get something together for Hidden Files, but the video I'm putting together keeps crashing my system every time I work on it, so you know something's juicy in there. Let's see, this Tuesday on I believe the translation for it is Secret World. I did an interview not too long ago with a show out of Brazil that's going to finally be dropping, so that'll be interesting. Let's just say this. When we first started recording that interview, I don't know how much this will actually get made into the final product, but mind you, I don't speak Portuguese. And the host of this show spoke as much... Yeah, he spoke about as much English as I did Portuguese. So, this was my first time acting with an interpreter. You remember that one time we had Elena on, and all of a sudden she was saying that she could hear you, but not me? Something cut off me and the interpreter to where the host and I were just sitting there waiting. That was the weirdest thing.
Do you know what I'll be doing this week? I've got 2 shows this week. I'll need to do the one for Friday. I've not set it up yet. But on Wednesday on Ghost Squad Scotland, I've got Talon Castle to talk about. But do you know what I'm talking about on Friday? The Ed and Relaine Worms. So tune in for that, guys. If you're into the spooky, the supernatural, the strange, and damn right
Mike,
weird.
Mike, you heard it from him. You better set Chris straight on that one.
Mike, you promised me that you would visit, if you can hear me anywhere you are, Mike, you promised me you would visit Dakota in the night and do something special for me. You know, you're going to be lying there and you'll not be able to move, and this character will come up, he'll rise up. That'll be Mike standing with his...
I was like, oh, hi, Mike.
Aye. Do you know, we should do a rerun night of Mike's videos. Kenny, the ones that on your show, talking about the Nazis, talking about the Plague Island and stuff like that. We should maybe get him. Can't really get him on, but we should show the videos again, and call it a Mike week, and every night play a Mike episode.
Yeah, maybe. You know that dude. He did a lot for us when he came on the show, and he was one of the few people that transferred over with us when we broke free of our previous ties. So
I know. I mean, his son still posts stuff on Twitter and stuff like that, and hopefully his son. I think his son's seen some of the videos in that day, you know.
Yeah.
But don't worry, he's floating somewhere, haunting someone as we speak. Just think, guys, if any of you are sitting in your dark room, then there could be that presence behind you, watching you. It might be Mike.
Yeah, just think, especially if you go to watch this, so the naughty things you like to do when you think you're alone in the house, somebody could be watching. Yes. Have a good night, y'all.
Thanks for tuning into the Bald and Bonkers Show. If you enjoyed the show and want to show your support, head over to our website at baldandbonkers.net. There, you'll find our merch, services, and more. Thanks for being part of the Bald and Bonkers family, and we'll see you on the next episode. And remember, always keep an open mind and an open heart. You never know what may happen.